So what is AI's relationship to ethics? Now, there are really broad ethical questions with regard to AI, and governments have been thinking about those in a lot of detail. But as accountants, how does that work with our own ethical requirements? Now, wherever you are in the world, you will almost certainly have to comply with an ethical code. Now, it might be the IESBA code, that's the International Ethics Standards Board code, or it might be your own professional association's code, which is nonetheless almost certainly based on the IESBA code. So for instance, I am a member of ICAEW, that's the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales, and our code is based on the IESBA code with a few extra bells and whistles, a few extra bits of explanation. So wherever you are though, there will be fundamental principles within your ethical code as accountants, and this will help you to understand how ethics is relevant to AI as well as all of the other work that you do. So if we look at these fundamental principles, the first one is integrity. You should have integrity. You should be open, honest, truthful in the work that you do. You should be objective. You shouldn't just believe something because, I don't know, somebody's paid you to say that you believe it, or just because you haven't thought about it enough. So you should be objective in the way that you approach your work. You need, of course, to be professionally competent. What's the point of being a professional accountant if you're not competent to do that work? And part of that is taking due care. You don't want to rush things, you don't want to get things wrong because you haven't taken due care. The next one is confidentiality. Clearly, if you are acting for clients, then client data needs to be kept confidential. But if you're working within a company, then of course that company doesn't want their data leaking all over the place. So that needs to be confidential too. And finally, there's professional behaviour as a concept. Now you might think, well, what's that got to do with AI? You know, it's a piece of computer kit. I simplify enormously, but you know what I mean. Well, it's more, if you used AI inappropriately, you might discredit the profession. You might make a really bad name for accountants. If all of a sudden you said, oh yes, this is the answer, and you'd based it on a piece of AI work, and it was wrong. So you have to be careful that you behave in an appropriately professional way and you don't discredit the profession when you're dealing with AI. So all of those principles are principles for whatever work you do as a professional accountant. But if you're using AI, of course you can apply that and think, okay, so how does that work when I apply AI? Am I honest with the client about whether I'm using AI? Do I need to tell them? What is the context in which I'm using it? A quick Google search, I don't think anybody expects you to tell the client, oh, it was AI assisted. But full-blown use of AI, maybe you need to tell the client. And there might be other aspects that you need to go through very carefully and think, okay, is it going to be confidential? Yes, no, how can I ensure that it's confidential? Am I being objective in looking at these results, or am I just believing it because the computer said so? So we can use those fundamental principles to guide us through using AI. Now, of course, as I said, governments are thinking on a much bigger scale. They're worried about existential risks. Is AI going to destroy the human race? Probably not. Let's hope not. But at least somebody's thinking about it. As an accountant, you probably don't need to go quite that far, but it's a very interesting and a very important area for you to consider.